is John Sutter. I was one of the first people to discover gold. I took part in making California famous. My dream was to build a colony of cattle, horses, and crops. One day, I asked James Marshall to build a mill in Coloma by the river. After he was halfway done building the mill, he thought he might take a break by the river. When he was by the river, he saw something shiny. He picked it up, and it was gold. He called me over to a room and said, "I just found gold in the river." At that moment, I knew we were going to make history. I was born on February 23rd, 1803 in Kindred, Germany. I had a dad named Johann and a mom named Christina, and also 4 brothers named Jacob, Francis, Johann, and Simon. There was not much to know about my childhood, but growing up, I had a hard time leaving my family in Germany to go to California. When I was a little older, I met someone named James Marshall. James Marshall motivated me to do my best. When James Marshall told me about the gold, I knew I was going to be responsible for one of the biggest migrations ever. I, John Sutter, was going to be famous. I did not want all of these people to be there because I wanted to finish the mill. After a little while, they started digging up my claim. They also started trashing my mill. More people came, and they trashed my place even more. Soon I lost everything. I lost it all. I went bankrupt. I was so mad at James Marshall for finding gold after I went bankrupt. I lived in a garden. It was a very cool garden. Sadly, I died on July 18, 1880 in Washington. I was 77 years old. I was happy because I had a very historical life. I knew my name was going to go down in history.
Sir Francis Drake, welcome to the yellow. Whoosh, whoosh. Hello, my name is Sir Francis Drake. I was a knight and captain of my ship, the Golden Hind. Yeah, it's a beauty. My wife's from chit chat, so keep on reading to learn more about me. I was born in 1540, Tavistock, UK. My dad was Edmund Drake. My mom was Mary Holloway Drake, and I had 5 siblings: Edward, John, Thomas, Joseph, and Elizabeth Drake. I was taken to Plymouth by the Hawkins. John Hawkins was my best friend. We did most of it together until, slavery. Sadly, I only escaped. I very well miss him. I was a thief once. I stole all the gold and silver from Panama. I was knighted by Queen Elizabeth I. I had one of the biggest map routes in history. I led 2 successful expeditions to the West Indies. I made a map so I am sure that it helped a lot of people to get around. I was a world model for many slaves. I escaped slavery, so I might have been a burglar but I changed. It was hard to travel around the world. I had to dodge diseases in Panama forest. I almost got a fever, and if I didn't know they were deadly in the 1500s, wait, no. If I didn't know that I was about to get one, I could have, wait, no. If you didn't know they were deadly in the 1500s, there wasn't many cures or medicine or anything really. If I didn't turn back in one of my expeditions, I would have died. Well, what do you know? I sadly died at age 55 on January 28, 1596, Portobello, Panama. I died because of fever. My favorite quote was, "There must be a beginning of any great matter, but the continuing into the end until it be truly finished yields the true glory." Question.
The Life of Dolores Huerta by Ashley Salgado. Hi, my name is Dolores Huerta. I was born in New Mexico, and I am 88 years old. My parents' names are Alicia Chavez and Juan Fernandez. I have siblings. I was born in April 10, 1930. I'm going to talk about my life, so enjoy. When I was a little girl, my parents got in a fight and got divorced, sadly. But my mom is happy about it now. I got a new dad. His name was James Richards. He is very nice to me, my siblings, and my mom. When I went to school, I used to get bullied because I used to be smart, and people used to call me Smarty Pants. But one day, I stood up for myself. I was a brave teenager. My mom and my dad and my stepdad were so proud of me that I stood up for myself. But then I started to have friends, and I was happy that day. Then I started college. My parents were happy. Then I was all alone, sadly, but proud of myself. When I was about to leave to college, my mom said, "You are the best daughter that I could ever have." That made me happy, and I said, "Thank you, Mom," and I gave her a hug. I said to myself, I am the best woman, and whoever said I'm not, I'm still am. One day I met President Obama. I was so excited to meet him in real life. That day, it changed my life. So I started to do a march in place. Most people went to march in place with me, and I was so happy that day. I have no children, but that is okay. Even though I have no husband, that is okay, but then I made a guy friend named Cesar Chavez. During that time, I met Cesar Chavez and fellow USO official who had become its director. He is the best. But sadly, he died. That day, I lost my good old friend. But I'm still here in this world, and I'm still alive. And that's great news. I'm still not married, but it's okay, even no children, sadly. But I still stood up for myself, but I did amazing things, and I'm happy about that. So this is my life. Question: what did I feel when your parents got divorced? When my parents got divorced, I was really sad. However, when I later realized it was for the best.
I had to go panning for gold in the American River. I was the first millionaire in California. I was an American and a businessman, also a journalist. I got divorced. People were coming from everywhere because of the gold rush. I went to New York in 1844 and began printing.
Cesar Chavez, Boycotting Grapes by Tess Buck. Viva la casa, viva la casa. I looked around and I, Cesar Chavez, saw people marching and people getting bloody feet. It was a great sight seeing people marching and fighting for their rights. I was born in Yuma, Arizona on March 31st, 1927. My parents' names were Liberado Chavez, father, and Juana Estrada Chavez, mother. I had 4 siblings named Richard Chavez, Rita Chavez, Marina, Liberado Chavez Jr., and Victoria Chavez Lastrada. When I was a little boy, we lost our farm from the Dust Bowl that happened during the Great Depression. I had to go to 32 different schools when I was 10 years old. Every night was a fiesta. I was a union leader and a labor organizer. I dedicated my life to improving the treatment and payment and working conditions for farm workers. I knew all too well the hardships of farm workers faced. To help my family, I dropped out of school and joined the Navy when I was 18. I probably wouldn't have seen the places I saw around the world if I hadn't joined. I changed the world by marching and boycotting. The farm workers were free without having to fight physically. If I was not alive, we would still have to be fighting for the equal rights. The National Farm Workers Association was all over the country, including Arizona. I came back to Arizona to marry my high school sweetheart, Helen Falbella Chavez. We had 8 kids and 32 grandchildren. In 2014, they came up with Cesar Chavez Day. They made a movie about me, Cesar Chavez the movie. The best part of my life was watching people getting what they deserved, equal rights. I died on April 23rd, 1993, in San Luis, Arizona.
Preserving for one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures. Real education should consist of drawing in the goodness and the best out of our own students. What better book can there be than the Book of Humanity? I was 67 when I died. Question, where did Cesar Chavez travel? Cesar Chavez traveled on foot from Delano to Sacramento, California's capital, a total of 250 miles. Wow. And then his wife, Barack Obama, at his grave.
Wait, so,
Questions at the end. Questions at the end. She's still presenting.
And then here is Cesar Chavez and all the other foreign workers.
that worked with him?
Yeah, and it's a statue of him. I don't know where it is.
Action.
Hi, I'm Walt Disney. My full name is Walter Elias Disney. I was born on December 5th, 1901 in Chicago, Illinois. I built Disneyland. I had 2 kids and they were both girls. My dad's name is Elias Disney. My mom's name is Flora called Disney. It all started when I was young. I started by drawing characters. My favorite part about drawing was when my neighbor paid me for my drawings. I was really fascinated with trains. I had a dream. My dream was to be an actor, to do the impossible. I never ever gave up. And guess what? I did it. I did the impossible. Even though someone stole my character, never ever did I give up. I experienced the Great Depression. My biggest achievement was creating my first movie, Snow White. If I, Walter Elias Disney, weren't born, Disneyland wouldn't exist. I had 4 siblings. When my parents died, it was very heartbreaking because they were always there for me. My life was very interesting. If I had one dream, I would be alive and show the world that it's okay to be an artist, even if their art is bad. My seventh film was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I never knew that I would do the impossible. I hope that my granddaughters and grandsons are doing okay. I just hope the best for my kids. I'm glad that I can still live for my autographs. I died on December 15, 1966. I died in the Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, California. I died from lung cancer. One of my biggest dreams was to live forever. My wife died in 1966.
Hi, my name is Neil Armstrong. I was born in Ohio. Let me tell you about my life. I was born on August 5th, 1930. I died in 2012. I was 6 years old and I was inspired to study to be part of NASA. So I started to study to be a part of NASA. When I was 15 years old, before I knew how to drive a car, I knew how to fly a jet. I was a very fast learner. I was the first man to walk on the moon. The mission to get a man on the moon, called Apollo 11. The Apollo mission was the hardest mission to get a man on the moon. I set up a land on the moon. The moon was a beautiful place. If we didn't make it to the moon, we would have lost the race. Speaking of that race was the race to the moon. We were racing the Russians, but we pulled it together and won the race to the moon. That probably was the biggest race in history. When I got a little older, I came back to NASA to get a job. I worked at NASA. At NASA, I was a vice president. I trained trainers so they can teach beginners. When I retired, I bought a farm. I died at age 82. I died from a heart surgery. I am so happy that I made to the moon, and I'll always have a spot in history.